Okay. Live.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our exclusive live webinar on CEMS Master in International Management. This is the session hosted by CEMS Club of IIM Calcutta. I am Aditya, and I'll be hosting this session uh, as a moderator, and I am also serving as the current president of CEMS Club Calcutta. I am also a current student in IIM Calcutta of 2024 batch. Along with that, I am also pursuing my CEMS Master in Management degree from Vienna University of Economics and Business. I'll give a brief overview of what CEMS is. So, CEMS MIM program is a prestigious global degree that offers unique blend of top-notch experience, inclusive of all the corporate partnerships that they have with partnerships in social impact area, as well as wide network of students that they have across 33 countries. The whole program is designed to forge the next generation of global business leaders with huge focus of sustainability and inclusivity. Uh, we have in the SIMS network 33 leading business schools from 33 countries. We have 70 corporate partners and 8 social partners who are actively engaged in the entire program and act as a network with whole variety of experiences throughout different events and different parts of programs that are organized for the students. Uh, Today here we have two distinguished SEMS alumnus with us who will share their insights and experiences, shedding light on how SEMS program has shaped their careers, and they'll share their own SEMS experiences with us. So, starting, we have Jasnoor Sibia. She is a graduate from 2016 batch of IIM Calcutta. She pursued her SEMS MIM at Bocconi University in Milan, and she is currently making her mark as brand director in Procter Gamble. She has previously worked at HUL as well. Second, we have Akanksha Raj. She is working as a senior product management at Microsoft. She completed her SEMS MIM degree from Vienna University of Economics and Business and MBA from IIM Calcutta in 2019. So, without further ado, we'll dive directly into the panel discussion. So, each of our panelists bring their unique perspective on the table. We'll try to discuss about their experiences through different phases of the SIMS journey and how SIMS has shaped and helped them to progress in their career. So, to start the discussion, I would first like to know that you both have a phenomenal track record at IIM Calcutta. While you were pursuing your degree here, what inspired you to go additionally from the SEMSM IIM program?
Okay. Hey, hi Aditya. Thank you so much for inviting us. To talk. It's really nostalgic to talk about the SEMS program long after, of course, that I completed it. But yeah, I think the reason why I wanted to try SEMS was see, first I really wanted to get into an exchange program, right? So that becomes the first aspiration. When you're in campus, you're a bit settled. I had a PPO in place. So I did want to try my hands at an exchange semester. I'd always wanted to study abroad. So I thought this was a great chance. It was a 4 month, experience. And then after I decided that I want to try it, I realized that there was the SEMS program as well. And I think it was a very lucky chance. One of my friends actually encouraged me to enroll. To be honest, my scores weren't top notch. I mean, of course, I did decently, but I wasn't in the top 20 or the top 25 on campus out of our entire batch. And I actually thought I probably won't get in. But the beauty of the program is such that there are a lot of aspects which I looked at, right? The fact that I already had work, I mean, I had interned outside India. I had, I had a foreign language under my belt. And then there are interviews in which why you want to pursue it, what are your interests are really evaluated. So as a combination of all of this, I still managed to get through, and I thought it was a wonderful experience. Maybe I'll talk about it later. But really, the reason for it for me at the start was just to experience, student life in a different country. But I didn't just want to experience student life in the sense of I just didn't want to travel and be a tourist. I actually wanted to study and I wanted to understand how academics are different, how different countries, bring different perspectives into business education as well. That is why I went for the program. And yeah, maybe later we talk about how the program helped. Over to you, Kamsha.
Hey, thanks, Aditya, for this question. So, one of the main motivations for me to go to CEMS is started actually before I joined IIM Calcutta. At that time, I got to know that IIM Calcutta is the only college which is offering CEMS program in India. I had researched about it a bit. In fact, even in my IIM Calcutta interview, I had told them that this is, something that I would want to be a part of. Fortunately, things worked out. When I was applying for CEMS, there were interviews on based on your statement of purpose. I think there are interviews based on that. So that went well, and I was selected. And one of the major motivations for me for going for CEMS is like before that I had never been to outside India, not even for a tourist kind of trip. So I wanted to learn more about the culture, but at the same time, I also wanted to learn how educationally things are different in Europe, say, versus in India, and so on. So I wanted to go to a college which had rigorous academic program as well, and then that is how Vienna also became a natural choice, because I think it's one of the few colleges which also has mandatory attendance. So it became a choice for me. So yeah, that was the reason I pursued CEMS.
Yeah, that's actually great. SIMS is actually such a unique program, and it adds so much value to your overall MBA experience. Sort of here, if we talk about Indian context, but it's designed in such a manner that, as you mentioned, many students don't know about SIMS before they choose their business schools, because the sort of awareness about MBA here is more than MIM, and that is one of the focus areas on which we are working to create more awareness about this program, especially in Indian context, of how much value it adds over the regular MBA that you are doing over here, so that the students are actually more aware about this, and they make sort of more informed decisions in this, especially in this counseling phase of things while they choose their business schools. And yeah, sort of what you talked about in the academic rigor of SEMS, it's actually something which gives you the wholesome classroom experience of doing an exchange in Europe. And that's something which I totally resonate with, because just going to Europe as a tourist on your exchange uh, does not give you that experience of how the academic system and how the corporate system of works abroad. And this is a program which actually gives you overall perspective in that. So following up on this, while you worked from VU, which is one of the reputed universities in Europe. So, how do you think your career progression went after this CEMS MIM program from Vienna? So, how has the combination of MBA from IIM Calcutta and the MIM from VU in Vienna influenced your approach towards this product management and leadership area which you are working in?
Yeah, actually, it has been some of the learnings that I learned from CEMS was something that helped in career progression. So one of the very important, I would say, traits that are required from a product manager is stakeholder management. And similar to, if you look at how Microsoft product management functions, we are working with teams across the globe. It's not just the US. There are many other teams dispersed across many other countries that we are interacting with. So one thing that I learned from CEMS, because my batchmates over there from various countries ranging from Europe to from US to even from Asia, what I learned was how to interact with different kinds of nationalities, how to empathize with their problems, how to understand where they are coming from, the different communication styles, which the soft communication styles, those all things were something that I learned from CEMS, and this actually helped. Me in my product management career is something I would say. It also gives you the confidence to go out, and put out your point of view to different stakeholders. So yeah, that is one of I would say the biggest benefits that I got from CEMS program.
Yeah, that's actually very insightful, and I totally resonate with it. So when we talk about this technical leadership sort of opportunity when you do some experience, so Jasnoor, I guess you also had a technical engineering background, and then you transitioned into this whole global brand building sort of job that you are doing right now. So, your experience at global giants like P&G and Unilever. So, how did you leverage the global network and the kind of learnings that you had from SIMS in shaping these international brands?
Yeah. So, but I mean, of course, the fact that I came from a technical background is irrelevant today because I don't think my engineering is adding too much value to what I'm doing today. But yeah, the good thing during my engineering was I got exposure to management pretty early. The campus, the NIT I was from, had management courses already included. So I'd studied marketing, I'd studied economics, I studied supply chain back then itself. So from my third year onwards, I was pretty certain that this is what I wanted to do. Now, on the SEMS experience, I think similar to what Akanksha said, the fact that you get to learn and really experience firsthand the differences in approach that multiple different cultures have obviously is very valuable. As you work in any multinational company, you would work with people of multiple nationalities. And I think there are courses which we do at in our home school, so in IIM Cal, which give us a flavor of this. And then, of course, we experience it firsthand when we are working very closely with students in our, university where we go outside as well. The way the structure of the program is also built, you get to do multiple course projects together, you do courses together, you do career seminars together. So all of those give you a very good idea of how the environment is in other places. You get to understand nuances of communication, as Akanksha was saying as well. The other thing which I think really helped me was the kind of courses are very different than what we get to study here, right? So every university or every maybe country by default has different strengths. So I think there were different courses in Cal versus what I got to experience in Bocconi. The strengths of the two campuses were very different. And because SEMS is a very academically inclined course or academically inclined curriculum, I got to study those things in depth. I remember one of the courses which we studied was change management, which was really around how do you instill change in yourself and how do you take one step at a time for it. And you actually had to make a change in yourself in that 4 month period. The professor was excellent, was a very different approach, which I think I continue to use even today. And we got to study luxury management, and I studied a lot of fashion management courses as well. So I think the other element apart from cultural experience is just the fact that the strength of your home university and the university where you end up going in terms of the courses might be very different. And hence you really open up your horizon in terms of what you learn. The third thing is I think the career seminars. I remember at my time it was in Vienna where both of you have also studied. So we had a massive career. I forgot what it's called, but there were multiple forums where we could talk to companies. You also understood how recruitment happens outside India, which is very different, right? We are a little bit more privileged in the way recruitment happens on campus. We also get to experience how it is in other countries. I actually got a chance to interview with P&G back then. And got an offer for interning with them in UK at that time. I didn't end up going, but I think you just get to experience how you interview with people, how you network in a proper work setup as well, not just as a student, as a prospective employee there. So these three things for me were the big value adds, which I think have helped me even today.
That's great, actually. When you talk about the Career Forum, so the Career Forum is still one of the biggest
Thank you
highlights of the
for
whole.
thank you for
Yeah,
correcting the term. Yes, career
yeah,
forum.
yeah. It's one of the like biggest highlights of the whole SIMS MIM experience when we are in Europe. This year also, the forum was in Barcelona. I think Isade is taking the lead in organizing the Career Forum now, and the experience was really really awesome. One more thing which we experience in our cohort right now is the kind of close knitted group that we have as 25 students pursuing the same degree, going from IIM Calcutta on an exchange in Europe. And when we were in Europe, so the Career Forum was around the time of Diwali, and we 25 students, the cohort from IIM Calcutta, decided to do a get together in Barcelona during the Career Forum, and we celebrated Diwali together as a group over there. So that was really a nice experience. So do you also have these sort of experiences of how the team bonding works when you are working towards pursuing a similar degree or a similar program in the university here, and some interesting insights from that?
Yeah, actually, I'll jump in there because you, again, it was a bit nostalgic for me as you told your Diwali story. Incidentally, like, of course, you make friends when you're in exchange semester, but you make closer friends, I think, when you're doing a program which is more academically intense, right? So my Diwali at that time was in Milan. So we were back, where we were staying, and it was very multicultural. So I had all of my SEMS friends who had come over to our house. So we'd hosted all of them. We'd done like a full, shebang around it. So I think it does make a difference, and I'm in touch with some of them even now. And you get to experience because you work more closely together. The experience you get is also more profound.
Right. Akasha, do you have like any such experiences from your exchange which you would like to share?
Actually, it was little bit, I would say, so it was Diwali, and we had exams around that time in Vienna. So what happened was I wanted to celebrate in some manner, but I didn't know how to go about it, right? And I was staying at the student dorm, OEAD student dorm, and then there was a person inside, like there was a person inside my hostel who told me that, there is a temple here which is celebrating Diwali. Would you like to, go there? And that's how I learned that, okay, even, and I went to this temple. It was they also had like things like delicacies from India and everything, right? And I really felt I was at home. And Diwali is a moment where you like kind of miss your family if you're not around them, right? And because of that experience, because of the students over there in the hostel, I actually didn't miss Diwali that year. So yeah, that is.
And that is actually great. Also, like when we talk about SEMS, so what I have experienced is SEMS is much more than the academic degree that you get, and much more than the classes you attend over there. So, in our experiences, when we did our exchange, so most of I would say more than 50% of the courses were actually industry like, where professionals from different corporates would come and take those courses. We would have exercises which would revolve around doing market surveys in different countries in Europe, and actually get a hold of what the market looks like, and what the consumer thinking is like. And that is something which gave us a first-hand experience of like how multinational companies do market surveys, how do they look at the consumer insights, and how do they develop these global products. So what like would you like to talk a bit about the kind of courses which are designed in the SIMS, and how does it help when we progress in our career? Because you already have like so much experiences in your respective companies.
Yep. So I think I kind of jumped onto some of the courses earlier as well. But I think there is a mix of courses which we do back home in Cal, as well as the courses we do there, right? Both of them I think are very meaningful. The one I did back here, plus I think the live project which we did back here, obviously added value. We learned a lot about multicultural working together, but the courses there were extremely different. And I spoke in depth about how it is because of the landscape of the country and the strength of the university. So the most memorable one I did was luxury and fashion management. I don't know if I'm using it too much in my life today, but I think I really enjoyed the course. Change management, which I spoke about earlier, was definitely different, something I continue to leverage even now. It was really about how do you make incremental changes to bring about a habit change or bring about a positive spin to your way of working or anything personal at that time, which you might have. Like, for example, I think I had worked on my being on time for things, right? So that was something I used to struggle with. I would reach my class generally late, etc. The professor spoke about, how do you set the right alarms, and it's very basic stuff, but I think it helps you change your outlook when you discuss something in depth about yourself for 4 months. We'd also done a course on the internet and how the internet was going to transform marketing, and way ahead of where I think we would have studied it here, because 2015 we already did a live project around it as well. So it was great because at that time, some of the other countries or campuses were a little farther away in their understanding of how the internet would transform marketing. And I got a bit of a flavor of that. And then, of course, as you spoke, Aditya, there was a lot of exposure to live projects or industry as well. The Career Forum is one such experience where you get to learn. We did seminars with multiple companies. We also got a chance to do visits with multiple companies. So I remember McKinsey coming over on campus and giving us a talk. And this was only for the CEMS students. We had done a visit to a Vodafone campus where they took us through the entire, and they really spent an entire day with the students, taking them through the working, the technology, everything. We had a trip to I think Zurich, where we went through a educational tech company. So very diverse. Like there's consult, there was FMCG, ed tech, the internet, telecom, all of them, and we got to experience all of them firsthand, and in a very different setup versus what we would have done back home. So I think it just opens up your horizon in terms of your outlook towards building brands or just generally working in the future.
Yeah, this actually makes a lot of sense. And when you're Milan, it's compulsory to read about luxury management. Yeah, it comes from the reason as well. What about you, Akansha? So, like, did you have a similar experience or something?
Yeah, actually, what Jasnoor said right now that the learning experience there is quite different. So two courses that stood out for me, one was about strategy management and the other was global marketing management. The thing that set apart these courses from the usual courses we do back home is, right, like more than half of the credit was based on group projects and presentation. So what was interesting was a that you learned to work with different folks on different projects, and because they are from different nationalities, they have had very different upbringing. The kind of ideas you get in those brainstorming meetings are like unique, are very diverse, which actually kind of expands your own horizons, that how people across the globe think about the same problem. So both of these courses were something like that. And the second thing which I learned is because they had case studies from across the world, right? I could learn about so many countries and how basically strategy things or maybe marketing things work across different countries in the globe, how cultural aspects are actually very important. In many cases, there are also make or break cases which happens because of cultural differences. So those were some things that I learned. And we also had immersion programs of very different kinds. So they took us, so Vienna University took us to amusement park actually over there. And we had all these games and all, but we also understood how an amusement park is managed and so on. So that was one thing we learned. And second, they took us for wine tasting actually, the university itself. And there we learned actually how the wine industry works. So it was like an experiential case study that happened over there. So these are very unique experiences, and it stands out for me. And I can I even remember them now sometimes because of the learnings that I got from there. So yeah, very unique.
Yeah, I would say we didn't get the amusement park thing, but we definitely did wine tasting.
Okay.
So it's still competitive. Yeah. Apart from that, yeah, so these are like networking events with the corporates and the kind of life projects you do. One thing which particularly stood out for me was, as you described, how you work in group projects, right? So over there, when you go for a SEMS program versus a regular exchange or something else, kind of your inclusion in the whole academic area becomes compulsory. You have to do it. So what I personally experience is SEMS enforces networking on you. So you don't have to put any efforts. You have to be rather be selective of, okay, I want to do this, I don't want to do this. And there are so many networking opportunities like across the whole program. And for me, the closest bonds that I made over there with the friends over there was during the group projects. So one of my group projects had a person from Chile and a person from China and then another person from Brazil, and it seemed like such a diverse group that I was like I was anxious in the starting that how would I work with them? Like, would they understand my ways of working, and would I be able to adapt on their ways of working? There were so many questions, but things panned out pretty well, and we end up like being very good friends. So, any experiences you have over there, and like sort of friends, like how was your experiences with making new friends over there? Are you still in contact with them?
Yeah, so I think I would also add that apart from the fact that you get to learn from people from multiple cultures, the other differences, they come with very varied backgrounds as well. You know, when we do an MBA in India, a lot of us end up coming together with very similar backgrounds, right? Most of us end up being engineers. Of course, like there's then a splattering of other things, but it's largely two or three backgrounds which come together. While in other countries, and when you get together with these with the people from who've come from multiple areas, the backgrounds are vastly different, and they could be older, they could be younger. The kind of things they would have experienced might be very different. So it's not just the fact that their culture is different, but also that their academics have been different, or their paths till there have been very diverse. I think that adds a lot of value as well. Yeah, of course, I had friends from multiple nationalities as well. I had a friend from China, another one from Austria, one from Russia, a couple from Italy. I am still in touch with them over Facebook and Instagram over some small things. Yeah, we keep trying to meet each other, but we never manage to when they visit, or I go somewhere else. But of course, the fact that they come with such diverse experiences really adds value.
Yeah, actually, I'll second that. And one thing that I realized over there, we think that people belonging to different nationalities are very different. And sometimes you get very conscious, in interacting with them. And SEMS actually helped me overcome that. So I remember my first interaction with a group, all of them from different nationalities, and most of them were Europeans in that group. And I said that, hey, excuse me, but my accent would be a little bit Indian. I hope you don't mind that. So they are saying, they told me, actually they put me at ease by saying that don't worry, we also watch Indian YouTubers all the time for all our computer courses, and so you need not worry about your accent. And that put me at so much ease. It also kind of gives you confidence in interacting with multicultural setup, right? And that is a confidence that I carried throughout in my career as well. And then there were actually friends which I made from very different nationalities, who till now, ask me that if you would like to come to our country, definitely let us know, and so on. And even so, for example, there was this good friend that I made from Taiwan, and we actually bonded over our shared interests on. You won't believe it, but K-drama and K-pop actually. So it actually gave me that confidence that people from different nationalities are also similar in a way, and so, right, and you get that confidence to interact with them. You see them in a different light because of such environments which are created by SEMS program.
Yeah, that is obviously there. The kind of confidence you get after going through the whole one semester in Europe, and that also that you have went for an exchange and you have put in so much hard work to earn an additional degree, which will definitely add value to you as a person, as a professional, and everything. And like when you aspire for something like an MIM degree, both the regular IIM Calcutta MBA degree, which is like very rigorous in itself. So like how was it for you? How did you manage the load of both the programs? And how did you think that this would work out, 2 degrees at a time, which are like very prestigious from a prestigious university? So I would like to know like just about how did you manage the workload of
So I would actually think that was quite high ROI. It didn't really feel like it was a ton of on top workload. Also because the SEMS program is designed very differently. So it doesn't feel like your average, the normal courses that you're doing. The biggest difference is, of course, the exchange semester is very different versus what you would have experienced without it. It is a lot more meaningful and a lot neater, but of course, like it's still a lot of fun. It's still a lot of travel. It's still a lot of moving around, making friends, both from your own home university who travel with you and outside. So that of course is different. But on campus, I didn't really feel like it added too much extra load because the courses or even the language which we were learning, which is one of the mandatories, or the projects that we're doing, they were very interesting. So I didn't really feel that they added as much burden, but the benefit out of it, out of having another degree, was much higher than the added workload that it may have added up to.
So, one good thing about most of the courses in CEMS was there were not like many exams over there. Most of them were based on case studies, on experiential learning and so on, right? So it's structured very differently compared to the usual courses that we do. So I wouldn't say that it put any academic load on me per se. It was very easy to manage. And one thing that I learned was you focus on the present. So when you are in the CEMS semester, you focus on the exchange experience, getting the most out of it and so on. When you go back to campus, because at that time I didn't have a PPO. So when you go back to campus, I focused on placements, the acads over there and so on, but one step at a time. So one thing to be careful that you should keep in mind is that you don't overwhelm yourself with all the things that are lying ahead. It's very easy to get burdened in that case.
Right. I guess an overall structured management of your workload, distribution of your kind of assignments would actually solve the case here. So as you talked about your placement processes along with the CEMS MIM program schedule and the regular IIM Calcutta program, so this is a lot to deal with, right? Especially we know that you just come from exchange in December and the placements are there right from end of December, starting of January. So, how did you manage all those things, especially related to placements, because that is a concern many people have, and also going through such an extensive program of CEMS MIM. So, did it supplement your, I would say, preparation for your interviews, and like how useful was it?
Yeah. I over to Akanksha because I didn't sit in the placement process.
Okay, thanks, Jasnoor. Actually, in my case, I had interned in a field which was very different from product management. So I would say that CEMS actually helped me build that conviction that product management is something where I'd like to go. And how I say this is because before joining IIM Calcutta, I was a software developer in a fintech firm, and I was inclining to go towards finance actually. And I did my first year internship in something which is a mix of finance and operations. And when I went to exchange, so my roommate was from TU, that is a Technical University of Vienna, and the people in my dorm were from Technical University of Vienna. So with them, I attended a couple of programming seminars, robotics seminar, and actually AI seminars over there. And then what I realized that maybe I came to IIM Calcutta with the mindset of going in a different field, but this is somewhere where I'm naturally inclined to. I feel passionate about this field. So there only actually I started preparing for product management. I started talking to folks around from our college, our seniors and so on to get an idea of that field, and actually kind of built a conviction that I want to go into this field. So actually CEMS helped me in a way to, choose product management as a career.
Yeah, that's actually great. That again comes from the philosophy. I strongly believe that the way CEMS enforces networking upon you, it actually makes you do it, and you don't have to put any efforts. And the kind of people, the range of their experiences you come across actually helps a lot in many ways. So on this, Jasnoor, you also said that you had a chance to interview with PNG while you were in Europe in the career forum, and then you finally landed up in PNG after like a brief stint in HUL. So uh, what was the process when you transitioned from I would say IIM Calcutta to HUL, which is in itself a big company, I would say, a big firm, and then to PNG, and how did you manage these stages?
So I think the big benefit which I got out of CEMS because of this is because I had previous experience with the company, right? So I actually met PNG through the career forum. I did a negotiation career seminar, what is it called? A skill seminar. So a 4-hour skill seminar from PNG on negotiation. I don't even think I've mentioned that to my colleagues here, but this was back in 2015. And then I got a chance to do a preliminary round of interview right there in the career forum. And then that followed into multiple interviews later when I was back on campus as well. And I actually got offered a chance to work in their London office for a 6-month internship. I couldn't take it up because I was joining my alternate company pretty soon after passing out from campus. I didn't want to delay this, so I had to let go of that opportunity. If I had taken up that opportunity, I think that could have set off a completely different and equally or more meaningful career path for me as well. So of course, if you are a part of CEMS, that is a brilliant option as well, right? You don't necessarily have to go through campus placement as well, right? That was a very exciting opportunity, which I didn't take up because I already had a job which I was very excited about. But it could have opened up, completely different doors for me as well. And then, of course, 2 years later, when I decided to move to PNG, the fact that I had already interviewed with the people, I knew the interview structure as well. I knew I had experience with multiple folks, even if not India based, right? The culture of an organization is very similar in some of these wonderful global companies, right? So I kind of understood the culture of what they were seeking as well. I also knew that I felt I could be a good match. And almost 6 years in, I think I continue to feel that I'm a good match. So just that association which CEMS was able to get for me in the past. One, the fact that I was able to crack an interview, crack an internship was very reassuring. It gives you a boost of confidence thinking that, hey, I have alternate options. And then, yeah, it gave me exposure to a great organization, which I by chance ended up in as well. And the exposure helped.
Right, right. Definitely, I resonate with it. And I would say one of the best experiences during my time in Europe was definitely Career Forum. When you just land into that hall, where more than 25, 30 corporates having their setups, and you get a chance to straight away walk to those representatives from different companies, and they are ready to talk to you. It's very, very different from what we see here in India. Here we have such a structured placement processes where you apply, you have pre-placement talks, then you interview with company. There the communication was so much open that it was like completely different transformative experience for me. And then I got to interact with so many companies. Even I would say the sectors where I was not so much interested into earlier based on our experiences here in India. Uh, they become so much more appealing to me because it was the kind of passion they were representing themselves with and the kind of interest they showed in students who were there for interacting with them. So yeah, a completely different exposure of how recruitment works abroad and how companies operate over there.
And I think I'd add to that, Aditya, because I think as I said at the start, right, we are privileged in the way our placement processes work. We sit for 2 days or 3 days, 4 days, whatever it takes, right? And you actually get through and you get a job handed to you right there on campus. You're almost assured of a job when you're from a campus like ours. But what you understand is that even like people who are, as able as you still have to go out there and find opportunities for themselves in other countries. And I think it's true for most countries outside India. You get to learn like almost the art of an elevator pitch. You get to realize that how do you present yourself? How do you talk to a networker or some employer of your future? And that's something that will help you, if not on your first job, when you obviously transition later, you would realize that what is it that what it takes to make a good first impression. Like I thought the seminar, the career forum was a great opportunity to do that because you can try making a first impression with 30 different organizations, all multinationals, and really, use that learning later in life. You wouldn't get a chance like this otherwise.
Like as you said, when we see at the placement processes we have in India, where we are almost assured that you are on campus, there's structured process. You don't have to think a lot. You don't have to basically think of the logistics of how these things would happen. There are companies, there are processes in place. You have to do the preparation. You have to set for the placements. But when you go to Europe and when you see the kind of processes they have, the people who are doing exceptionally well and the people who might be interested in 10 different fields, they have to go to the corporates and pitch their profile and their interest to those corporates. And the kind of experiences is so much supplemental, I would say, because here in IIM Calcutta, you get the security of what you're doing, you get a comfort because there is a structured process which is here to support you. And then you learn the real hustling of things when you have to chase the companies, when you have to learn about them, when you have to schedule your own interviews, and this acts in such a supplemental way. I think it really developed the kind of exposure you would need to progress further in your career over here in India as well. Yes. Uh, so apart from that, when we talk about the kind of work management that you do over here to complete your degree. So just to give a context to our audience, so how does this program work is that you have 2 year of MBA from IIM Calcutta, and then in the last two terms, that is term fifth and term sixth, there is an opportunity to do an additional MIM degree, which is the CEMS MIM degree, uh, along with the regular MBA you do. So the two terms comprise of an exchange term where you go to Europe and study in one of the affiliated CEMS universities. And then in the sixth term, you complete the rest of the degree requirements at your home school, which is IIM Calcutta. And after all these degree requirements, while you are studying at IIM Calcutta, you'll also have to complete an international internship to basically complete your overall requirements of the degree, right? So I would also like to basically discuss on what was your experience with the kind of additional requirements of business project and international internship, and how did you manage to navigate through those things with the regular workload of IIM Calcutta? And how did it span out for you?
For me, I think again, like along with the process, the fact that I didn't have to sit in finals, even the internship was a little easier because I did intern outside India for my summer internship by default. So that was able to count for the internship that I needed to complete my program. I had interned with Unilever Africa, and that obviously counted towards this experience. If it hadn't, then the internship I spoke about earlier, the one that I had got via PNG, was going to be the substitute, and I would have just had to move my joining by a month or so to complete it. So it was by no means tough to get hold of an internship. It's just that I didn't need one. But the career forum was a great chance to do this. I think versus trying to find something yourself, I think the career forum gave a great opportunity for you to kind of have all companies in one place, and there were many which were willing to kind of offer these opportunities. The only nuance that comes in is, of course, you have to figure out your visas, etc., when you're going to Europe. But otherwise, it's not tough to get a hold of internship just because of the kind of networking that the program enables. The projects and the other elements, of course, I think are very value adding because they are built very differently versus our general program. That along with the internship. Now, I may not have done it specially for the program, but any international internship when you do gives you a very good glimpse of course, the course tells you how student life in a different different culture can work, but the internship really takes you deep into understanding. And since I am from the FMCG background, understanding consumers of a different market, I think that was very exciting for me. The fact that I had and working in Africa, there are parallels that you can draw across categories to where India was maybe in some markets is today or was a couple of years ago as well. So really understanding consumers of a different market, then understanding the differences in work processes, all of that, most of us would end up working in multinational companies or would have multinational clients. All of these things, slowly as the experiences add up, they definitely will set you apart from those who do not have these experiences, because you would have a better gut towards these things.
That actually makes a lot of sense. And currently, we are in the process of doing our business projects, and we are actually enjoying it a lot. And now we are looking forward to the internships as well. What about you, Akasha? Like, how was your experience with it?
So in my case, what I did was once I got placed on campus from IIM Calcutta, the next step what I started to do was look for an internship outside India. Unfortunately, the opportunities and career forum didn't pan out for me. So there were two resources I got a hold of. First were seniors who worked in firms to complete their CEMS requirement. And second was the career portal actually. In CEMS, I think you get access to this career portal, which had a varied opportunities. So I got three opportunities. One was from Bangladesh, one was from Thailand, and one was from Philippines. I eventually ended up going to the opportunity in Thailand. And it was a very great experience because the firm that I worked with, it was a startup. It had around 70, 80 folks, and all of them were from different nationality. Like starting from the founders to the people in the office, everybody was from different nationalities. So it was a very great experience learning there. And as to the business project, I think we did with Credent, if I remember, which was a company in which is a company in Kolkata itself. And that was a very unique fintech kind of business project that we did with folks in IIM Calcutta on the team. So yeah, those were the two experiences in terms of internship and business project in SEMS.
Got it. That sounds like really a wholesome experience of doing an exchange in Europe and then an internship in Thailand. You cover both the western part and then Southeastern Asia. That's actually a wholesome global experience, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, as we discussed we discussed through your journey of SEMS MIM, and it's actually so insightful and so enriching in the kind of opportunities both in developing yourself personally as well as professionally. Now, I would request you to actually discuss about what do you think right now we are going through the process of recruiting basically selecting PGP ones for this SEMS program, and people are still applying. We are encouraging people to apply. There is a lot of interest from the batch for this particular program. So, do you have any words, any insights, any suggestions for them?
I would just say first, don't think whether you should apply or not. You should apply. That would be my default answer. There is almost no downside. I can't think of any downside actually of being a part of this program. It's only upsides. It doesn't add as much in terms of your workload, especially since the courses, as we spoke earlier, are designed in a very different way. So one, do apply, and second, don't shy away thinking that you're not, let's say, amongst the first few in the campus and it's going to be very academically inclined, etc. I was giving my own example. I'm actually thinking of not applying. It was thanks to a friend of mine who mentioned, hey, why don't you give it a shot? And then I did, and I still got in because the interview and the SOP, all of them really add to a lot as well. So do apply. Be very clear as you're sitting, making your SOP and sitting through interviews about what this means to you. If you just want to go for an exchange semester somewhere, please just go for an exchange semester, right? If you don't want to put in the effort of actually being present, attending classes, this program will do nothing for you. But I was able to travel despite the program. I had, the university I picked, I used to be in campus 3 days a week, and the remaining 4 days I had available. I went to some 16, 17 countries. I had a lot of fun. So it was a really good mix of the fun I had along with the learning that I was able to get. So if you have that level of flexibility, at least that you are willing to study for a couple of days a week, then definitely give it a shot. It's worth it.
I would actually second that. That be prepared also to give effort, right? Like
Absolutely.
don't just treat it as a exchange semester, right? So to get the most out of the SEMS program, you have to bring something to the table. You have to give in some efforts to make the most of this program.
That actually makes sense. We have a few questions from the audience who have joined us live YouTube. So I would just quickly go through the questions, and if you could pitch in what your ideas are. So there is a question which says, can you tell us a few courses which helped you a lot in understanding the path you wanted to go? Because after MBA, most of the people have various paths and like they are quite confused and not able to exactly figure out where they should go. So was there a turning point where you realized, for example, Akasha, we have already discussed that you were with your exchange friends, and then their technological background, the kind of exposure from there basically inspired you towards going into the product management. So
True.
what's for you, Jasnoor? Like, when did you feel that, okay, I really want to go into marketing, FMCG, brand building?
For me, actually, as I said earlier, it was during my undergrad itself. So I did my engineering from NIT Jalandhar, and we had a very good management program there as well. So I did study marketing there. I studied like a bunch of management courses, and I was very sure from then that I wanted to get into marketing. And the experiences post that only added on to it, right? I think the courses in Cal, which I did, I think marketing management 1 and marketing management 2, they're still called the same thing. And supply and distribution. So SADMAN was the second course. And there was a course on consumer insights as well. I don't remember the name. But these three, four as a mix are a very good representation of a marketing career, because one teaches you core marketing. The other one teaches you insight generation, marketing research, I think is what it was called, which is another element of marketing. And the third one teaches you sales and distribution. Most companies, anyway, do work with a mix of sales and distribution and marketing, and it's great to have understanding of sales and distribution as well. So after, and plus if I add to it the experiences I had in terms, even some of the skill seminars which I took as part of CEMS were also marketing focused. But the courses I took largely were marketing focused, even in Milan, even in Bocconi. So all of these things really reinforce, plus my internship, they really reinforce that this is what I wanted to do. And till today, I have no doubt that this is what I want to pursue long term as well. So I think just keep layering on, and the moment you realize, and be willing to let go. You may have had one passion, like I remember one of my friends had passion for marketing, but as they spoke to companies, as they studied courses, it didn't really seem to click that much. And two of them, actually, my own brother and, if I talk about a friend of mine, both of them went into finance and are doing great in that field. So also be very flexible about letting go. If you have had one set passion, use the experiences in a meaningful way. Use the experiences to add value, and be willing to change your mind. Uh, Both if you think it's not that exciting, and also you need to be a cultural fit to the organizations you will work with as well. You will not, as an individual, be a cultural fit to all kinds of organizations. Different fields, marketing, investment banking, consult, product management, all of them would have a very different ethos as companies as well. So if you and your mindset, your ways of working are not a fit, please be flexible, be willing to let go. The first job that you get out of campus is important, but even if that is not a fit, please take a decision early and pivot. You can pivot anytime in your life as long as you are flexible. Don't hold on to one dream and think that this is, I'm 100% sure this is what I want to do.
That actually makes a lot of sense. And Akansha, we talked about how this exchange experience and the kind of overlap of workload with the placements and the activities. We have a question on the same lines from Chetna Gupta. So she asks, does going on exchange program has any effect on your placements or job opportunities in any ways? So if you could like briefly answer that question.
So one good thing about the timelines of SEMS and when placements start on campus, at least during my time, what I experienced was it doesn't overlap. So when your SEMS experience is ending, after say 1 or 2 weeks, the placements and all start. Definitely, you have to take a little bit of workload if you're not placed by that time. If you don't have PPO, you will have to take a little bit of workload towards the last month in exchange, as in you'll have to prepare your CV, get it reviewed from your seniors and so on, and also some sorts of verification which happens on the campus. You may have to ask your friends to help you with that verification. Little bit of load might come, preparation might come, but the good thing is at that time SEMS related workload is almost zero, like it has almost tapered down. It's just the final project submissions and so on, and you can actually focus towards the last 2 3 weeks. You can decide to focus more on placements if you feel that there that is something where you want to put more efforts on, so you can do that towards the end. So it is all manageable is what I would say.
Yes, and that's actually what as the current cohort have also faced. So most of the people who go on exchange here as well, a lot of them are sitting for the placements, and it's actually manageable. The kind of timelines are also set in a manner that it's accommodating for both the students who stay back at campus and the students who are at exchange. So that's something which is already taken care of. Before we conclude the session, one final topic which I would want to discuss with you is uh, we have the counseling sessions coming up for MBA schools for the students who have given CAT this year and aspire to take admission in these B schools. So I would like to know if you have any words for them on how they should plan on choosing their B schools, what are the factors they should take care of, and uh, also basically how do they prepare for their interviews and all.
Uh, okay, I'll be funny here and say you just need to pick IIM Calcutta if IIM Calcutta is picking you. I don't think there is another option. But yeah, so I think you need to pick the school which has the best fit to your aspirations. Different, I wouldn't go into details, but different B schools have different strength areas in terms of the functions, if I may call it, which they have expertise in. The professors, I mean, there are esteemed, wonderful professors in all campuses, but across even the top 10 campuses in India, there are a few stalwarts, and they differ by the function that they teach. So those two things you should definitely keep in mind, because the first one will also influence the kind of opportunities which you get on career, right? There could be some which really, really specialize in investment, some in consulting, some in supply chain, some in marketing. So that's the one nuance you need to keep in mind. Otherwise, as long as you are in the top few, I don't think it will make or break things too much for you. So please be relaxed about it. It ultimately comes down to a couple of points here or there. If you have a good catch score, first, like, don't take too much load on yourself. Wherever you end up in the top 10, it's fine. You will end up carving out a good journey for yourself. For your interviews, just practice on your thinking, on your structured thinking. Across your answers, the one way to easy, now that I interview people regularly, the one thing which really makes interviewers lose interest is if your answers are not to the point, or they're not interesting enough, or you're not really being able to bring out in your answers the value that you have added. Each and every answer that you give, you need to focus on, it's basically you selling yourself. So be sure that you're not describing situations and what people did, etc. In those situations, you are really talking about the value that you add as an individual, and what you have learned so far, and whatever it, and be true to yourself, because it's very easy in an interview to figure out who's fluking, and who. And not everybody has every quality, but whatever two, three are your strengths, really double down on those strengths. Make sure you mention those and find ways to give examples of those in the interviews. And the examples should be interesting, they should be crisp. Yeah, you should be fine.
That's actually great. Those are a few things which we also, because this is quite recent for us. We sat for interviews, I think, some 1.5 years ago. So those are a few things which we actually took care of and invested in. And I think, yeah, those actually panned out. What about you, Akansha? So, would you like to share some of your experiences in this?
Yeah, actually, I'd like to talk about the interview prep, right? Like what actually I have seen, like now that I also interview with some of the classes, what I've seen is people kind of fabricate stories to kind of look cool, at that time. Don't do that. Be authentic to yourself. One thing that will get help getting your thoughts in a structure is write down your answers, right? At least for the common questions like why MBA, why this college, why a particular career that you want to choose after an MBA. So it is good if you could write down those answers and see how it is coming across to a third person. And the one thing that you should genuinely think, right, while you're sitting for this MBA interviews is why really do you want to do an MBA? How will it, help you in your future career? Don't just think about it from a placements perspective. Think about it as to why do you think an MBA will add value to our life. So if you know currently there are many paths that students can take to excel in their career, but think really hard as to why you want to do an MBA, because that conviction shows across to the interviewer as well. So that is one piece of advice I'd like to give.
That's actually insightful. And as we draw this webinar to a close, so I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our panelists for sharing their valuable experiences and insights. And also, your journeys are like truly inspirational. And the kind of stories I heard about how your career paths turned in a way, especially Akansha, based on your experiences of the exchange, and how the career forum and other seminars help you both in navigating through your career decisions. So that is actually transformative. And I would also like to thank our audience for joining us here today. And also, we hope that this session was very useful for you. It provided you with a clear understanding of CEMS MIM program and its transformative potential in your careers. So I would say that stay connected to us if there are any questions, if there are any follow-ups. Feel free to reach out to us on LinkedIn or other platforms. We are also open to answer all your queries on our SEMS Club or social media handle. You can directly reach out to us there. Uh, and also, all the best for your interviews and may the force be. Thank you, Akanksha. Thank you, Jasnoor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All the best, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Bye.